أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، سيدنا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المطهرين، ولعنة الله على أعدائهم أجمعين من أول يوم ظلمهم إلى قيام يوم الدين. صلى الله عليك سيدي ومولاي يا أبا عبد الله، صلى الله عليك يا ابن رسول الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة، ويا باب نجاة الأمة، مظلوم يا شهيد كربلاء، يا ليتنا كنا معكم سيدي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. Our holy 12th Imam, when addressing his grandfather, says to him, "Oh my grandfather, if I wasn't with you in Karbala, if I wasn't with you to stand with you and to defend your life and the life of the Ahl al-Bayt, لأندبنك صباحا ومساء." Oh Imam, I will cry for you every morning and every night. وَلَأَبْكِيَنَّ عَلَيْكَ بَدَلَ الدُّمُوعِ دَمًا. I will cry for you, Ya Aba Abdullah, but my tears will be that of blood. My eyes shall cry blood for the musibah of Karbala. Just like how the heavens, just like how the earth, just like how the animals, just like how everyone cried for you, Ya Hussein. What a musibah, what a tragedy. The narrations tell us that on the morning of the day of Ashura, after performing Salatul Fajr, Aba Abdullah al-Hussein comes to address the army of Umar ibn Sa'd. He says to them, after wearing the turban of Rasulullah, after wearing the cloak of Rasulullah, he stands before them and says, "Oh people, why do you not understand, and why do you not search your conscience? Did you not hear the Holy Prophet say that I and my brother are the masters of the youth of paradise? Do you see that I have committed any wrong against you? Have I killed anyone of yours? Have I taken that which belongs to you? Ask yourselves this question: why are you shedding my blood? Why have you surrounded me and my companions and my family?" No one could give an answer. Then Imam looks at them and says, "If you have any doubt about what I have said, then you do not have doubt out that on the face of the earth there is no grandson of the Prophet except me. There is no one closer to Rasulullah than me. At that moment, one of them says, you must surrender, you must give up yourself. Imam alayhi salam says to them, by Allah, I will never surrender like a slave, nor humiliate myself before an oppressor. This is the wish of Allah. He goes back. The companions are all waiting. The Ahl al-Bayt are all looking. After some exchanges, Umar ibn Sa'd cries out, bear witness them, I am the first who throws an arrow. The arrows began showering themselves onto the army of Abu Abdullah. The narrations tell us not a single Sahabi of Imam al-Hussein was left without an arrow piercing through the bodies. Imam said to them, this is the message of the enemies. قوموا يرحمكم الله. Stand, may Allah have mercy upon you. One by one they came to Abu Abdullah. They sought the permission from Imam al-Hussein. One by one they would go to the battlefield and never return. Muslim ibn Awsajab comes forward. He asks Abu Abdullah for permission. The man who was in elderly age goes to the battlefield. He fights courageously and he is struck. When he is struck, Habib ibn Mudahir comes next to him. He says to him, if I knew that I will live for longer than I will take your wasiyah. A Muslim says to him, oh Habib, there is a wasiyah. There is something I want you to do. He says, what is it? He says, awsika bihadha. He looks behind him. Abu Abdullah is standing. He says, I ask you to look after this man. I ask you to die before him. Habib says, Wallahi af'al. By God, I will do so. One by one they emerged. Al-Hurr ibn Yazid al-Riyahi is looking from the other side. He finds that the army of Umar ibn Sa'd are charging towards the camp of Abu Abdullah. Somebody asks him, oh Hurr, what is it that you're thinking? He says, Inni ukhayyiru nafsi bayna al-jannati wan-nar. I am choosing between hell and Jannah. For Allah, I will never choose anything over Jannah. He rides on his horse, goes towards the campsite of Abu Abdullah, crying out, Allahumma inni ilayka munib. Oh Allah, I'm asking for forgiveness. I am somebody who has performed the greatest of sins. He comes before Abu Abdullah seeking repentance and tawbah. Imam al-Hussein says to him, Allah will forgive you. Come down from your horse. He says, Sayyidi Abu Abdullah, allow me to go back to the battlefield. Let me fight them because I am stronger on the horse. Hurr ibn Yazid goes back and he is martyred. Wahab ibn Kilab, the Christian who became Muslim, goes back and he begins to fight. The narrations tell us that his wife would say to him, wait and do not go and leave me as a widow. He goes and fights in the battlefield, returns and finds his wife saying, oh Wahab, please return back to the battlefield. Oh Wahab, do not wait here. He says to her, why have you changed? What is it that's made you different? She says, Wahab, don't blame me. The loneliness of Hussein broke my heart. The loneliness of Abu Abdullah. Wahab returns back and fights and he is martyred. Allahu Akbar. One by one the companions move. Zuhair ibn al-Qayn, Habib ibn Mudahir, one by one they are martyred, until Aba Abdullah looks around the battlefield. He finds the slaughtered bodies of his companions lying one next to the other. He cries out, "O Muslim ibn Awsaja, O Habib ibn Mudahir, O Zuhair ibn al-Qayn, O Burayr, O Abis, mali unadikum fala tujibun." Why is it that I call you and you do not do not respond to me? Are you asleep that you need to wake up? Are you not hearing my cries? At that moment, Ali al-Akbar listens to the cries of his father. He comes inside the tent of Aba Abdullah. This is the wida' between the father and the son. Ali al-Akbar looks at Aba Abdullah. They know this is the time to leave. This is the time to bid farewell. The narrations tell us that Imam al-Hussein says to him, "Bunay Ali ilayya ilay." My son Ali, towards me. Ashimmuka wa tashimmuni. It's the final time. Let me hug you, oh my son Ali. Ali al-Akbar hugs Aba Abdullah. Yet they fall unconscious due to the weeping and the crying. When Ali al-Akbar moves towards the battlefield, Imam al-Hussein lifts his hand towards the heavens and cries, "Allahumma ashhad ala ha'ula'i al-qawm فإنه قد برز إليهم غلام أشبه الناس برسولك محمد." Oh Allah, be witness against these people, for by God a young man has emerged who resembles your holy Prophet Muhammad in his appearance, in his speech, in his mannerism. وَكُنَّا إِذَا اشْتَقْنَا إِلَىٰ نَبِيِّكَ نَظَرْنَا إِلَيْهِ. Every time somebody wanted to remember Rasulullah, they would look at Ali al-Akbar. People would come to Medina. They say, "We never saw Muhammad." They say, "Go to the house of Hussein. There's a man by the name of Ali al-Akbar. He resembles Rasulullah." Ali al-Akbar goes to the battlefield. Narrations tell us he killed more than 100. Yet the heat and the thirst was affecting him. He returns back to his father. He says, "Oh my father, the heat of the day is becoming difficult. The thirst and the weight of the armor is getting harder. هل لي من شربة ماء?" Is there some water that I can quench my thirst, get some energy so that I return back to the battlefield? Imam al-Hussein says to him, "Bunay Ali, be patient, for your grandfather Rasulullah will quench your thirst from the pond of Kawthar." One narration says to us that Aba Abdullah says to Ali al-Akbar, "Oh Bunay Ali, come close to me. Bunay Ali, take some of the saliva in my mouth." Ali al-Akbar looks at the mouth of Aba Abdullah. Allahu Akbar. What is the state of the thirst of Hussein? No one was as thirsty as Aba Abdullah. He was the most thirstiest on the plains of Karbala. Yet he was the one who was patient. Ali al-Akbar says, Aba Abdullah, I have not seen a mouth which is so dry. I have not seen you so thirsty. Imam al-Hussein says to him, "Bunay Ali, your mother Layla is waiting for you." Oh my mother Layla. Ali al-Akbar says when he goes inside the tent, he finds his mother unconscious after she had prayed to Allah. Moments before she had prayed to Allah, she had sat in front of her prayer mat and cried out, "Ilahi bi gharbati Aba عبد الله إلهي بظلمة أبا عبد الله. Aba Abdullah is mazloom. Aba Abdullah is by himself. For the fact that Hussein is by himself, return me my son Ali al-Akbar. Allah responded to her supplication. Ali al-Akbar returns, finds his mother. She is unconscious onto the ground. He sits next to his mother. For those who have sons, for the brothers and sisters who have sons, how hard is it to say goodbye to your son? How hard is it to say Khuda Hafiz, to say wida' for your son who is in his 20s? His mother wakes up, she finds Ali al-Akbar there. She says, my son Ali, stand up before me so that my eyes can cast itself for the final time upon you, so that my eyes can see you. Ali al-Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ali al-Akbar returns back to the battlefield. When he returns, he is surrounded by enemy members and combatants. One of them says, I will make his father mourn for him. And when Ali al-Akbar is engaged and busy, he strikes him on his head. Ali al-Akbar falls onto the horse. The blood begins to gush and pour from the broken, from the stabbed head of Ali al-Akbar. Imagine the horse's face covered with the blood of Ali al-Akbar. The horse cannot see where to go. He starts to move. He goes to where the enemies are. Ali al-Akbar is helpless. He is on the horse. Everyone surrounds the body of Ali. One man stabs him with a dagger. Another one throws a piece of rock on his back. A third person hits him with a spear until Ali al-Akbar falls from the horse. He cries out, Alayka minni salam, Ya Aba Abdullah. Oh, my father Aba Abdullah, my grandfather has quenched my thirst. Imam al-Hussein leaves the campsite. He goes the opposite direction. Sukaina says, Aba Abdullah, the sound and the cries are this way. He says to her, my daughter, do not blame me. And imagine a man who hears the cries of his son, knowing that he cannot help him. And whose son is this? Ali al-Akbar. Imam al-Hussein comes, sits next to Ali al-Akbar. Then some narration says that at the moment he could not recognize him. He could not know it's Ali. The stabs and the wounds on his face, the stabs on the wounds on his body. Sits next to Ali. Ya Ali, ala dunya ba'daka al-afa. You, oh Ali, you have left this world and you've left your father to suffer with it. Oh Ali, what is the worth of this dunya? Seeing such tragedies. Ali al-Akbar is seen smiling at one instance and seeing in a sorrowful state in another. Imam al-Hussein in his final moments of the life of Ali says to him, Bunay Ali, why is it that I see you smiling and at the same time when you look at the other side you are grieving? He says, Aba Abdullah, on my right hand side I see my grandfather Rasulullah. He has quenched my thirst. Ajarakum Allah. This is the day which Sayyidah Fatima is mourning. He says, on my left hand side I see my grandmother Fatima. She is slapping her cheeks. She is hitting her head. She is crying out, Wa Husayna, Wa Madhluma. Aba Abdullah al-Hussein returns back to the campsite. He says to the sons, he said to the youngsters, come and pick up the body of Ali al-Akbar, for I do not have the strength to carry his body. The women all cry out, Sayyida Zainab, Layla. They all come out, they cry out, Wa Aliya, Wa Shahida, Wa Mazluma. At that moment, one by one from the members of Bani Hashim, they come and ask for permission. There were two young men. They were the sons of Sayyida Zainab, Aoun and Muhammad. They were in the tent. Sayyida goes to them, go to Abu Abdullah, your uncle. Ask for permission to go. They come, they sit next to Hussein. Oh, my uncle Hussein, we have in our veins the blood of Ja'far and Ali. Allow us to go to the battlefield. Imam al-Hussein does not do so at the first instance. Sayyida Zainab comes inside the tent, said, Akhi Aba Abdullah, I ask you in the name of our father Ali, I ask you in the name of our mother Fatima, allow them to go to the battlefield. Allahu Akbar. Imam al-Hussein allows them. They go to the battlefield. It is said that they both fought next to each other until they both were struck and fell martyred on the plains of Karbala. Sayyida Zainab sees that her sons have been martyred. She comes down in sajda and prostration. She is thankful to Allah for her shuhada. One by one they come forward. Then it was the time of Qasim, the son of Hassan al-Mujtaba. He comes and sits next to Abu Abdullah, my uncle Hussein. I want to go to the battlefield. I want to fight with you. I want to defend your life. Imam al-Hussein at the beginning does not allow him. He then gets a letter from his father, Imam al-Hassan al-Mujtaba. Imam al-Hussein leads the letter. The letter says, Akhi Aba Abdullah, I am your brother Hassan al-Mujtaba. Akhi Aba Abdullah, I am not there on the day of Ashura except my sacrifice. My sacrifice is my son Qasim. Allow my son Qasim to go. Imam al-Hussein kisses the letter. He places it on his head. He says, Bunay Qasim, bring me the box of your father. There is a box that has the remains of his father. He opens it. There is the turban of Imam al-Hasan al-Mujtaba, and there is the sword of Imam al-Hasan al-Mujtaba, and there is the cloak of Imam al-Hasan al-Mujtaba. Al-Qasim wears it all. Imam al-Hussein says to him, go bid farewell to your mother. Go bid farewell to Sayyida Zainab and to the women of the Ahl al-Bayt. The narrations tell us that the women were in one tent. Qasim comes inside. They look at him. They remember Imam al-Hasan. They mourn and cry, Wa Hasana, Wa Mazluma, Wa Masmuma, oh, the one who was poisoned. They all cling on to him. Oh Qasim, do not go. Oh Qasim, do not leave us. Qasim goes towards the battlefield. Hamid ibn Muslim says, I saw a young man, his face was illuminating like an illuminating light of the moon. When he came, due to his young age, he killed many of the enemies of Allah, until one of them, I said, I will make his uncle mourn for him. I said to him, do you not see that people have surrounded him? He waited. When one of the straps of his sandals were broken, Qasim knelt down to repair it, and the man struck him on his head with a sword that divided his head. The sword was poisoned. The head of Al-Qasim was opened. Al-Qasim cried out, my uncle Hussein. Al-Qasim cried out, oh Amma Hussein. Imam al-Hussein rushed towards where Qasim was, struck his enemy, struck his killer, found him in onto the ground, sat next to Qasim. Bunay Qasim, it is so difficult for your uncle to hear your cries and not being able to help you or to stand with you. Al-Qasim departs from this world. The body of Al-Qasim is bought. There is a special place. There is there the body of Ali al-Akbar, the body of Al-Qasim, the body of Awn and Muhammad, the body of the sons of Aqil, the body of the members of the Ahl al-Bayt. One by one they are stacked next to each other. The women come inside. They look at the bodies. They look at those of their loved ones, and they throw themselves onto the bodies. They are weeping and they're crying until the cries can be heard. Al-Atash al-Atash and Saqi al-Atasha, the one who quenches the thirst, can no longer hear the cries of the children, the cries of Sakina, the cries of the daughters of Hussein. He comes to Aba Abdullah, Sayyidi Aba Abdullah, لقد ضاق صدري, my chest is tight. I want to go and seek revenge from these hypocrites. Imam al-Hussein says, Akhi Aba al-Fadl, Ya Qamar Bani Hashim, if you want to go to the battlefield, then seek some water for these children. Aba al-Fadl al-Abbas goes to the battlefield. He starts to speak. He starts to admonish the enemies. He asks for some water. Shimr says, you will never taste water. Even if the whole entire world was filled with water, we will never give you a drop of it. Aba al-Fadl al-Abbas returns back without a single drop of water. Prepares to go to the Alqami. In front of him there are 4,000. He has a water container. This water carrier is his objective. He brushes aside the 4,000. He kills some of them. He reaches the water of Alqami. He reaches the river. He feels, he takes some water on the palms of his hand. At that moment, when the coldness of the water is felt, he cries out, Ya nafsu min ba'd al-Husayn huni. Oh nafs, what is your worth when Hussein is thirsty? You want to quench your thirst when the Ahl al-Bayt are suffering with the thirst. He does not drink a single drop of water. He takes the container and fills it with water. He wants to return back to the children. He wants to quench their thirst. He wants to give them water and fulfill his promise. He goes back, but an enemy of Allah is hiding behind one of the palm trees, strikes him with a sword, severing the left arm of Aba al-Fadl. He cries out, Wallahi in qata'tumu yamini, inni uhami abadan an dini, wa an imam sadiq al-yaqini, najl al-nabi al-tahir al-amini. By God, if you sever my left arm, I will continue to defend my Imam, who is the grandson of the Holy Prophet, who has come with this certain religion. Another man hides behind behind a particular palm tree. Aba al-Fadl al-Abbas was carrying the water container with his right arm. This time the man strikes him on his right arm and severs it. Aba al-Fadl al-Abbas picks up the water container on his teeth, and that moment somebody directs an arrow towards the water container. The water is spilled. Aba al-Fadl al-Abbas is standing on the horse with no right and left arm. Harmala picks up an arrow, directs it towards the eyes of Aba al-Fadl al-Abbas. The eyes are penetrated with an arrow. At that moment, Aba al-Fadl doesn't know what to do. A man comes with a spear. He strikes Aba al-Fadl on his head. Aba al-Fadl falls onto the ground with no arms to protect himself. At that moment he cries out, أخي أبا عبد الله عليك مني السلام. Oh my brother Aba Abdullah, peace and blessings be upon you. Imam al-Hussein, when he sees Abu al-Fadl fall from the horse, cries out, Al-an inkasara dhahri, Al-an qallat hilati, Al-an shamuta bi aduwi. Now my back is broken, now I am weaker, now the enemies are the ones who are abusing me. Imam moves towards the battlefield. He wants to find Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. Abu al-Fadl cannot see. Imam sits next to him. Abu al-Fadl thinks that it is someone else. He cries out, I beg you, whoever you are, please leave me a few minutes. I am waiting for my brother Hussein. Allow my brother Hussein come next to me. I want this to be the wida'. Aba Abdullah says, Akhi Aba al-Fadl, this is your brother Hussein. I am now here next to you. Akhi Aba al-Fadl, what is it that you want me to do? He wants to pick up the body of Aba al-Fadl, but Aba al-Fadl would not allow him. He says, why? He says, do not take me back. I promise Sakina some water. I promise to quench her thirst. I do not want her and the children to see me this way. Imam al-Hussein, in the final moments of the life of Abu al-Fadl, picks up the head of Abu al-Fadl, places it on his lap. Abu al-Fadl puts it back onto the ground, and then he makes a small hole for him under the dust. Imam al-Hussein takes it back. Every time he does this, Abu al-Fadl puts it back onto the soil. Imam al-Hussein says to him, Akhi Abu al-Fadl, why is it that you're doing this? Why is it that you do not allow me to place your head on my laps? Abu al-Fadl says, Akhi Aba Abdullah, now you place my head in your laps, but in a couple of hours, who will be next to you consoling you? Who will be looking after you in your final moments? Who will place your head in their laps? The narrations tell us that at that moment the soul of Abu al-Fadl departs. Imam al-Hussein leaves the body of Abu al-Fadl, returns back, his back nailed. He comes next to the tent. Sayyida Zainab looks at him. Where is my protector? Where is the one who brought me to Karbala? Where is the one who would make sure that I would ride on the horse? He would help me ride on the horse. Where is the one who is my beloved brother? Imam al-Hussein does not say a word. There is a tent of Abu al-Fadl. Ya Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas. Imam al-Hussein goes inside the tent. There is a pole that holds the tent. Imam al-Hussein takes the pole away. Imam al-Hussein takes the pole away. The tent collapses. Sayyida Zainab recognizes. She cries out, Wa Abbasa, Wa Akha, Wa Shahida, Wa Mazluma. The women cry out, Abbas is no longer with us today. Where is the body of Abbas? When Imam al-Hussein saw that there were no members of his family, he left. He cried out, Ala hal min nasirin yansurna, Ala hal min mughithin yughithuna, Ala hal min dhabbin yadhubbu an harami Rasulillah. At that moment, the narrations tell us that Imam al-Sajjad was in the tent. He was ill. He hears the cries of his father. He says, my auntie Amma Zainab, give me a stick and give me my sword. She says, what is it that you want to do? He says, I will fight. I will stand up with my stick. I cannot bear hearing my father cries this out. Imam al-Hussein says keep him, so that the progeny of Ali Muhammad continues. The narrations tell us the final moments. What happened? Imam al-Hussein comes inside the tent. One narrations tell us that he says, bring me Ali al-Asghar. I want to bid farewell to Ali al-Asghar. Sayyida Zainab brings Ali al-Asghar. Imam al-Hussein looks at his thirst. Look at the child that was stopping, and he was no longer crying. He was so thirsty, he had no energy to cry. Sayyida Zainab says, Akhi Aba Abdullah, why don't you go and ask for some water? Go and ask for some water for this young child. He goes to the battlefield. Ali al-Asghar is wrapped on white cloth. He says, he picks up the boy, Ali al-Asghar. He says, look at this innocent young child. He has not committed any crimes. Why do you not feed him some water? The army of Umar ibn Sa'd were disputing. At that moment, Umar ibn Sa'd looked at Harmala. He said, Harmala, cut the discussion. Do not allow people to side. At that moment, Harmala picks up an arrow, a three-pointed arrow, normally used against the adults. He says, I looked at Ali al-Asghar, the 6-month-old child, and I saw the whiteness of his neck. When I directed the arrow pierced through his neck. He started flapping like a bird who was slaughtered. Imam al-Hussein looks at his son Madhbuh. Imam al-Hussein looks at Ali al-Asghar. He had to take the arrow out. When he took the arrow out, the blood gushed out. The young son stopped breathing. He took the blood, he threw it towards the heavens. Imam al-Baqir says not a single drop came back. He says, هَوَّنَ بِي مَا نَزَلَ بِي أَنَّهُ بِعَيْنِ اللَّهِ. He took the young son under his cloak. Sayyida Zainab, his mother, his sister, they all came out. Aba Abdullah, it looks like they have fed our brother, they have fed our son. Imam al-Hussein says, take this young child, Madhbuh. Take him, for he has been slaughtered. When Imam al-Hussein recognized that it was the time to bid farewell, he looked around and he began to call his family members. Oh Sukaina, oh Sayyida Zainab, oh Kulthum, oh Rabab, oh Layla. This is the wada', this is the farewell. They all gathered around him. They all hold on to him. Aba Abdullah, do not leave us. Aba Abdullah, what will we do when you're not there? He said to them, be patient. Await Allah's qada. Allah will take you out of this calamity. At that moment, Imam al-Hussein is bidding farewell to all of his family members. He mounts on his horse. He is going towards the battlefield. When he goes for the first time, the narration says that he was on Zul Janah. He reaches the water. When he reaches the water, he is next to his horse Zul Janah. He says to the horse, you are a horse and you are thirsty. You must drink before I drink. Zul Janah understood Aba Abdullah. Al-Jal Janah shook his head. It is as if he was saying, I will never drink until you drink. Imam al-Hussein looked behind. The enemies had charged towards the tent. He said to them, Ya Shi'ata ala Abi Sufyan, in lam yakun lakum din, wa la takhafun al-ma'ad, fakunu ahraran fi dunyakum. Oh, the Shia of Al Bani Sufyan, if you do not follow a religion and you do not belong to a particular tribe, then be free in this world. wrong. They said, what is it that you want us to do? He said, whilst I'm alive, do not attack my women. Fight me. Shimr says, لَكَذَلِكَ. Imam al-Hussein returns back to his family members. This was the final wada'. This was the final farewell. He looked around and his daughter Sukaina was not there. His daughter was on the corner. He comes next to her. He says to her, my daughter Sukaina, why are you not there with the women? She says, my father, I want you before you go to place your hand on my head, for I am the yatim of the Ahl al-Bayt. I am the orphan of the Ahl al-Bayt. The narrations tell us that he came and asked for some old clothes. He said, my body will be ransacked and looted. I want some old clothes. He tore some of the clothes. He wore the old clothes. Then he said to his sister, oh, my sister Zainab, bring me my horse. She came to him. This was the wada' when he mounted on the horse. The narrations tell us that she called him back. Mahlan, mahlan, ya ibn al-Zahra. Oh, the son of Zahra, come back again. Imam al-Hussein, when he hears the word Zahra, Ya Zahra, the ribs that were broken behind the door and the wall, the young son that was aborted, Zahra the martyr. Today is the day of the mourning of Zahra. The ribs of Zahra were broken in Karbala. Imam al-Hussein looks behind. He feels that his sister Zainab has called him. He comes back. He says, my sister Zainab, what is it that you have called me for? She says, Akhi Aba Abdullah, come down from your horse. Dismount from the horse. He comes down from the horse. He says to her, you have severed the veins of my heart. What is it that you have called me for? She says, Akhi Aba Abdullah, I want to see your neck. I want to see your chest. Show me your neck and show me your chest. When Imam al-Hussein shows her his neck and his chest, she embraces the chest. She kisses the neck, but she kisses the neck at a particular point. She looks at Medina. Assalamu alayki ya Ummah, ya Fatima. The wadi'ah, the trust has been fulfilled. He says to her, tell me, why have you done what you did? She says, Akhi Aba Abdullah, on the final moments of the life of our mother Fatima, she came to me and said, my daughter Zainab, when your brother Hussein goes to the battlefield, I want you to kiss his neck and I want to embrace him on his chest. Why? It is because the dagger will sever his head and the horses will trample his body, will crush his bones, will make his body like a mesh. Imam al-Hussein goes towards the battlefield, cries out, Ana al-Hussein ibn Ali, آليت أن لا أنفني أضربكم بالسيف حتى ينحني. He moves towards the enemies. It is said that one of the historians said, I did not see a man who had lost so many of his companions and his family members, yet his face was illuminating. His face was indeed shining. He was fighting like a lion of Allah, so brave on the battlefield. Not a single man came before him until Imam al-Hussein struck him
At that moment, Umar ibn Sa'd saw the number of the casualties that Imam al-Hussein had inflicted. He cries out, this is the son of Ali, this is the lion who does not flee from the battlefield. Surround him from all angles, charge at him from all sides. When they were doing this, today is the day that the musibah belongs to Imam Sahib al-Zaman. عظم الله لك الأجر يا صاحب العصر والزمان. Imam alayhi salam stood. He was tired. He stood for a moment to take a break. A man came to him. He had a large rock. He threw this rock on the forehead of Aba Abdullah. The forehead of Imam al-Hussein began to bleed. Imam took his cloth. He wanted to wipe out the blood from his forehead. It is said that Harmala took up arrow. He directed it towards the heart of Aba Abdullah. The three-pointed arrow pierced the heart of Hussein. When Imam al-Hussein saw the three-pointed arrow, he picked up the blood. He threw it towards the heavens. Not a single drop of it came back. He says, هَوَّنَ مَا نَزَلَ بِي. And then he says, اللهم تقبل منا هذا القربان. He took out the arrow. When he took out the arrow, the blood began to pour. What did Imam do? He picked up the blood and he smothered his face. He smothered his beard. He said, هكذا ألقى جدي رسول الله. I want to meet my grandfather, Imam, the Holy Prophet, like this, so that he could see what his ummah did to me. He could see what the enemies treated me. Imam al-Hussein was weak. Imam al-Hussein had no more strength to fight. At that moment, he collapses from the horse. He falls onto the ground. They all surround him. An enemy of Allah stabs him. Another one strikes him on his body on the sword. Another one hits him with an arrow. One man said his body was so littered with arrows that there was no space in his body. He fell onto the ground. He cried out, Bismillah wa billah wa ala millati Rasulillah. He was there all alone on the battlefield. All of them surrounded him. At that moment, Sayyida Zainab, Kulthum can see what was happening. A young son of Imam al-Hassan by the name of Abdullah, he saw his uncle fall from Zuljana. He went towards where Imam al-Hussein was lying on the battlefield. He sat next to him. He says to him, my uncle, who is it that's done this to you? Who is it that has hit you on your arms? Who is it that has inflicted this injury upon you? Imam al-Hussein hugs him. At that moment, Harmala, la'natullah ala this man. Every time he sees a scene, he wants to injure, he wants to cause bloodshed. He finds Abdullah in the company of his uncle. He directs, one man comes and takes a sword and severs the right hand of Abdullah. He cries out, oh my uncle, I am next to you and they have severed my arms. Oh my uncle, what is it that they've done to me? Imam al-Hussein says, oh my son, you will attain paradise. Be patient. And Harmala takes an arrow and directs it towards the heart of Abdullah. And he is slaughtered next to Aba Abdullah. At that moment, the narrations tell us that Zuljana came to Aba Abdullah. He saw the body of Aba Abdullah Imam al-Hussein looked at him. Zul-Jana looked at him. Then Zul-Jana took his head. He began to wipe his head on the body of Aba Abdullah, bloodying his head. Imam al-Baqir said, Zul-Jana was crying, الظليمة الظليمة على أمة قتلت ابن بنت نبيها. What a crime that an Ummah kills the grandson of their prophet. Zul-Jana returns towards the camp. There is no Hussein. The other women looked at Zul-Jana. They all surround Zul-Jana. Oh Zul-Jana, where is your rider Hussein? Oh Zul-Jana, where is Aba Abdullah? Having noticed that Imam al-Hussein was all alone, the enemy said every time a man would want to come and kill him, he would be distracted by the illuminating light coming from the face of Imam al-Hussein. The narrations tell us that Sayyidah Zainab came out of the tent. She stood on a particular hill, today known as the Talla Zainabiyya. She saw Abu Abdullah in that scene. She saw the enemies getting close to him. She cried out, Wa Muhammadah, Wa Aliyah, Wa Ja'farah, هذا حسين في العراء مخضب بالدماء وبناتك زبايا. This is Hussein all alone, gharib, by himself, his body battered, torn into pieces. At that moment she looks at Umar ibn Sa'd and says, Umar ibn Sa'd, are you not a Muslim? Do you not see the grandson of Rasulullah in such a state? Can you not help him? The narrations tell us that when Imam al-Hussein was all alone, every time a man would come next to him, he would be distracted by him. Imam al-Hussein would be whispering. He would be remembering Allah. Ilahi taraktul khalqa turran fi hawaka. Oh Allah, I have abandoned everything for your sake. Wa aytamtul ayala likay araka. I've left my family so that I see you. If I'm torn into pieces, oh my Lord, my heart will never go to anything except you. At that moment, Ajarakum Allah, may Allah give us patience. Assalamu alayka ya sahib al-zaman. Umar ibn Sa'd cries out, why do you not relieve him? Take him out of his misery. Shimr ibn al-Jawshan, Shimr ibn al-Jawshan takes out a dagger, sits next to Abu Abdullah, stabs Abu Abdullah 13 times, takes the beard of Abu Abdullah, takes out the dagger, severs the head of Hussein.
Hussein, 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 Hussein.
Can you hear it loud and clear?
the call of Sayyid al-Shuhada. هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا Can you hear it loud and clear the call of Sayyid al-Shuhada هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا On this day of Ashura from the land of Karbala هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا Can you hear it loud and clear the call of Sayyid al-Shuhada هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا On this day of Ashura from the land of Karbala هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا Battered and surrounded by the likes of Shimro Hurmala هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا Battered and surrounded by the likes of Shimro Hurmala هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا Hurt and thirsty yet his cry reaches everyone near and far هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا Hurt and thirsty yet his cry reaches everyone near and far هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا There is no Qasim, no Akbar, no Muhammad Abdullah There is no Abbas or no Muslim Ibn Awsija There is no Qasim, no Akbar, no Muhammad Abdullah There is no Abbas or no Muslim Ibn Awsija هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا We wish we were there to say لبيك يا ابن رسول الله We wish we could have responded to your call of Ashura. We wish we were there to say لبيك يا ابن رسول الله. We wish we could have responded to your call of Ashura. هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا 1400 years it's been, still it feels like yesterday. Your Halmin still resonates in the minds of your Shia. 1400 years it's been, still it feels like yesterday. Your Halmin still resonates in the minds of your Shia. هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا هل من ناصر ينصرنا We will be your messengers, we will propagate your name, we will spread the light of justice through the power of your flame. We will be your messengers, we will propagate your name, We will spread the light of justice through the power of your flame. But if we want to be this way, if we wish to say labbaik, we must first begin to see, we must first begin to take. If we want to be this way, if we wish to say labbaik, we must first begin to see, we must first begin to take. Every day the Ashura, every land has Karbala. Kullu yawmin Ashura, kullu ardhin Karbala. Every day the Ashura, every land has Karbala. Kullu yawmin Ashura, kullu ardhin Karbala. هل من ناصر ينصرنا 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 يا حسين حسين يا حسين يا حسين
يا عباس يا عباس
يا سيدي
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 يا عباس